Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today's reading is going to be focused on what are your spiritual gifts? Okay, you already know the routine. Share my screen. We're going to be focusing on your spiritual gifts today, okay? And those of you watching this, you may already have an inkling of your spiritual gifts. You may already have an awareness of your spiritual gifts. And if you don't, then this reading is great for you. But if you already have an understanding of your spiritual awareness, consider this reading to be confirmation and a deepening to what you already know. Now for the piles. We have 3 piles here for you today. You are welcome to pick more than one, but remember, like I always say, please pick using your intuition. I'm going to give you all a second to pick, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Okay, so pile number 1, what are your spiritual gifts here? So pile number 1. You have the gift of discernment and clairaudience. You know what people are thinking, but you also, you can tap into the kind of person that they are. So you can see people's hearts. And when I was tapping into your energy pile number 1, I was being drawn to like in Egyptian culture, there's like what it's like this thing, like these scales, and you have them in your reading. We're going to talk about them. It's like these scales, and it would like weigh people's hearts and compare it to a feather to see like if they were going to, go to the light basically in the afterlife or not. Okay. And it's like you have that energy, like your whole aura is that, like when people come around you, it's like they have to weigh their heart on that scale. And if their heart is not as light as that feather, you don't want them around you. Pile number 1, I feel like you have this gift of discernment, but you also can read people's hearts. You know how people are. I feel like you may operate from your heart chakra a lot. You're a very loving person, and that is a spiritual gift in itself. But it's like you also know the kind of person that people are based upon the quality of their heart. So when you get around people, pile number 1, you feel things, and it's not something that you have to force. You just naturally feel it, and you feel when people don't have the best interest at heart for you or for somebody else. Okay. And I feel like when it comes to that, your spirit guides are saying, pound number 1, you need to start speaking up about that. If you know that somebody's weird or they have weird energies, speak up on that, because you could save lives. You could save people's bank accounts here, because you never know what people are doing. You could save people's energies in their hearts so that they're not being heartbroken by a person being deceptive. So let's get into these cards and see what are your spiritual gifts. So pile number 1, King of Swords here. So this is what I was talking about, these scales. It's like people put their heart right here and then the feather, and you intuitively weigh it. And whenever it's too heavy, you're like, nah. That's how you are able to discern who's meant to be in your life, who's meant to be in your circle, and who's not. So you have the gift of discernment. Okay. I don't feel like you're very, very friendly when you meet people, pal number 1, because you can sense energy, especially if you can sense that somebody's racist, homophobic, sexist, when you can sense that somebody's misogynist, when somebody's discriminatory in some way or deceptive, you don't allow those types of people into your life, because you know how that kind of energy is. It's like pile number 1, your energy is like this bath water, this clear bath water. And it's like when you're around somebody, because that bath water will change, that color will change. So let's say, for example, it's a warm bath, there's nothing in it but just warm water, purified water. Okay. And somebody just comes and dumps some dirt in there, but that's their energy, that's how they come in. The water is going to change, the water is going to become tainted, and it's like you energetically have that. So your aura is that water that's warm and purified, but it's like you can tell when somebody's trying to taint your aura, or when somebody's come in the vicinity that can taint other people's aura. It's also like people that have weird vibes to you, kind of, when it's like a spiritual stench. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a spiritual stench. It's like you're like, you smell that, but other people don't smell it, but you do. And as it gets closer and closer and closer, you finally detect where the smell is coming from. And it's coming from a person that people wouldn't expect. So you, pile number one, sometimes you're gonna have to be that person that exposes people who have bad intentions, even if that person is loved by many people, even if that person is charismatic and charming and fun. What are you feeling underneath? Okay. So with the Knight of Swords being here as a spiritual gift, I feel like you know what people are thinking. This is something that I feel like you've had since you were young, since you were very young. So you could have worn something, right, when you were younger, and you had a thought in your head of somebody else that it was ugly, but that same person told you that it was cute, and you're like, I know you think it's ugly, and you could have shocked that person, and they were probably like, I do think that. How did you know it? I feel like you know what people are thinking, and it may not be something that you actually hear. It's just kind of like this inner knowing. But for others of you, you may actually hear, because clairaudience is clear hearing. You may actually hear these things, okay? I feel like spirit also could speak to you about certain people or about certain things here. Like, I know how my clairaudience comes through. Like when I'm shuffling, I will literally hear spirit say, no, pull another card. So it can come through like very clear like that or in other ways, okay? I feel like you may get messages through music as well, or you may find yourself being in sync with music. Like, let's say you're talking about the color blue, and then the song lyric says blue. Like, it's certain things where you're in sync with like language. Okay, that's a spiritual gift as well. Take what resonates. The next card that we have is the Fool. So I'm getting here, you transmute energy. Pile number one, I don't think that you're somebody that is ever going to stay down for too long. Like when people send you weird energy, you're able to transmute that, and you use it to either give back to the world through love, or you use it to elevate yourself. Like you understand that even though bad energy, is bad, we can turn it to good. So we're not going to waste this energy. You take energy like it's a very unique way that you do it. Like you don't, even though you get hate, you'll be like, you know what, I'm going to transmute that. I'm going to take that and turn it into something beautiful. So even though that came from me and it was meant for bad, I'm going to make it meant for good. So that's what you do. Or even if people are talking bad about you, you probably used to do this when you were younger, because I'm getting that, pile number one, you've always had these gifts since you were a kid. You probably let them become dormant, but now they're opening back up to you. And I'm getting here that you could have said things like, people could have tried to say things about you, but you would speak over them. So you would transmute that energy. You could have had a person when you were growing up telling you that, you weren't attractive or you weren't smart, and then you would tell them, I am smart. I know I'm smart. Like you would say things like that and use that energy to tell yourself positive things. So then you're manifesting positivity for yourself because that energy came your way. So that's what I'm saying. Like you utilize energy, you alchemize it, which is a spiritual gift. Okay. The next card that we have here is Illumination. I feel like you see people clear as day. I don't think that there's anything people can hide from you. Remember that reference I talked about water? Yeah. I feel like you may get spiritual messages through water. I'm one of those people, so I get it. You see people very, very clearly. Okay. So don't, pile number one, I know you like to go back and forth with yourself. You're picking up on the correct energy. You just don't want to believe it. Because I get here that somebody picks up on energy and don't want to believe it. I used to be one of those people, and I regret it. Like looking back, I'm like, there's people I could have cut off at earlier times had I listened to my intuition, and I didn't have to go through the heartbreak and the drama that came with the ending of that connection. But I didn't listen to myself. So I'm telling you from past experiences, pile number one, listen to yourself. Sometimes you don't have to explain things to people. You don't need to explain why you feel something to somebody. You don't need to explain that all the time, because a lot of times people will gaslight you or make you think you're tripping. So listen to yourself. You can be trusted. Pal number one, okay? You can be trusted. Like I seen this quote and it was like, you don't have to explain to people why you're cutting them off. Like, especially if you have a strong intuition, you can just feel when somebody's moving funny. Because anytime when I did that, I'm like, oh, I need to see the proof. I need to see the proof. I ended up seeing the proof after I cut that person off. So trust even before you cut them off, okay? The next card that we have is protection. So you are protected here. That's a message coming through from spirit. You are protected. So if you've been feeling like this, like you're not protected, you are. But if you ever like go out in public and you think you're not protected, you are. I feel like because you pick up on things so much, you may feel like you're under attack a lot. Pile number one, because you are a light. And your light does irritate people's demons. Another one of your spiritual gifts is your light. You may find that you have people that just have a problem with you for absolutely no reason. And it's not you, it's the demons inside of them. Like, there's this quote, and it's biblical as well, and it's saying that you're not ever fighting against flesh and blood. You're fighting against principalities. You're fighting against energy, spirits, not people. Okay. And pile number one, I know it's a lot having a light. I know. But I want you to continue to shine that and know that you're protected and spirit got your back. You got to have more faith. Like, one of my favorite spiritualists, she said this. She said, "How do you feel comfortable with strangers making your food, but you're scared to trust in God?" And that hit different for me. So I hope that hit different for you. About number one, you are protected. Okay. Mm, Look at this soul in Leo. So we know that the sun rules Leo. So you have this light. A spiritual gift here is your light. You illuminate things, okay? You illuminate things. You shine lights. So you may find that you have people who don't like you, but they don't like you, pal number one, is because they know you're going to peep their whole card. They know that you're going to be able to see the dysfunction that they're trying to bring, and you're going to be able to see the tricks that they have in their bag that other people can't see. So that's why people will have a problem with you, because they know that you're about the truth, you're about speaking the truth, and you're about living in the truth. People that don't resonate with that are going to have a problem with you, because liars don't like people who tell the truth. Like, why would they? Because you're messing up their whole plan. So I just wanted to tell you that, pal number one, because I know it can be disheartening to have such a beautiful light, but do not allow people to turn it down. Go around other lights, or just find ways to deal with people who are triggered by you, because number one, it's not your fault, and it's not your responsibility how they feel. But what is your responsibility is how you feel and how you respond to people responding to your light. You don't have to be diminished. You don't have to beat yourself down. You don't have to ask like, what's wrong with me? Spirit made you different for a reason. God made you different for a reason. Embrace that. Okay. The next card we have is Scorpio, followed by Pluto. So we know Pluto rules Scorpio. So I feel like here you see the deception in people. You see the darkness in people. That's your spiritual gift. Why you have that light? Because having such a beautiful light means you know the extent of the darkness. You're somebody who can sit with your dark emotions and your light emotions, because you know that we're human, and we have to have this equilibrium of both. Okay. We're not all light, but we're not all dark either. Okay. So I feel like you see the deception in people, especially when people come around people, it's like you can tell, like, for example, if you're a woman watching this, you may have certain friends that date people, and you're like, you can look at the profile picture of the person that they talking about, and you're like, that no, he's not right. No, and everything you're picking up on is correct. And if you're a man doing this, it's the same thing. Your fellas might come to you and say, "Oh, I like this girl," and you're like, no, that's not the person. And then people are like, but what? You don't even know them, but you picking up on that energy. And the same thing can apply if you're non-binary. You can have, friends come to you about a love interest, and you're like, nah, that's not the one. And then they'll go and date that person and then find out that you were telling them the truth the entire time. Okay. So pal number one, sometimes you gotta let people learn on their own, because there's only so much you can tell people. Okay. The next card that we have is Libra. So that's why I was getting, like, when it comes to relationships, you can sense when people aren't balanced with each other or equally yoked. Okay. That's a spiritual gift you have. Okay. When people aren't being fair with each other or with the person that they're with, you pick up on that. And I don't think this is just limited to romantic relationships. I feel like this is any relationship, like friendships, family. It's like you help people see who's fake around them. Okay. And Spirit is saying that that's a beautiful thing, because you know how many people live their life like around people who hate them and don't know it? Like, man, oh my goodness. Like, I remember having this cousin that I grew up with, and I thought we were like just sisters, like soul sisters. Come to find out, she hated me and she never liked me. And it broke my heart, because I'm like, so none of our heart to heart conversations meant anything to you. The adventures we had, none, that was all tea for her. So now I got a person that knows so much about me that never gave a fuck about me. Excuse my French, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you want to prevent stuff like that, pal number one, you have to listen to your intuition. And if you don't want people around you going through that, let them know about these people. And the best thing you can do is let them know, because even if they still don't listen to you, they can never say you didn't tell them. They can never say you didn't have their back. Okay. The next card we have is Mercury. So again, this goes with that clear audience. You get messages from spirit, okay? Through words. There's a connection to you in words, you in music. Okay. I feel like also you give people really good advice, which is also a spiritual gift here. Okay. But yeah, pile number one, those are your spiritual gifts. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Mwah. Peace. We're going to move on to pile number two. So, pile number two, what are your spiritual gifts? So, pile number two, I feel like you have the gift of clairvoyance, magnetism, and healing. People are naturally drawn to you and they grow from just being in your presence. So, give me just a second, pile number one. I'm sorry, I said pile number one. Pile number two, I'm sorry. My nose is running a little bit. I don't want it to just run on camera, so excuse me. All right, I'm back. So, pile number two, let's get into your spiritual gifts. Let's see. So, pile number two, the first card that came out for you was the Three of Pentacles. So, you definitely do draw people towards you. You see how the people in this picture are coming towards him and bringing him things? I feel like people do that with you, but they're bringing you their pain because you're the kind of person that, like, you're clairsentient. Even though you have clairvoyance, you're clairsentient. You feel things, but you also can see, okay? You pick up on people's energies and like you're able to know exactly what's hurting somebody. Like you're able to know exactly like what's ailing them, okay? And then with the death card being here, I feel like you definitely help people to like let go of things that don't serve them and have new beginnings emotionally. I feel like you help people to break out of like you help people who are emotionally unavailable. That's what I'm getting strongly. Like people who think that emotions are bad, sensitivity is bad. Like you help shift their point of view. I also think that like that magnetism is definitely one of your most powerful spiritual gifts because people come to you seeking healing. Okay, they come to you seeking healing and you help them like let go of something that's not serving them. So you may actually be somebody who works in a healing type of job. So you could be a nurse here, a doctor here, a teacher here. Okay, you could also be a spiritualist. You could be a tarot reader watching this. But it's like people come to you, and after they have an experience with you, they're a brand new person. Okay, I feel like you really listen to people, and even your listening is healing because people can tell that you're listening and they can tell that you understand where they're coming from. Especially if these people feel like nobody understands them, you're gonna understand them. Okay. I feel like you have a lot of emotional intelligence and, and emotional depth, pound number two. So it's very easy for you to understand where people are coming from. I feel like you help mend conflict. So if two people are in conflict, you're that person. So let's say there's family conflict, you listen to one side, you listen to the other side, and you help them to come together. So you're definitely a peacemaker, and that's one of your spiritual gifts because you like to create peace, not war. Okay. You like to give people emotional new beginnings. So you might be the type of person that helps people to begin meditating, to start journaling, to start making tea, in the mornings, to start going to yoga, to start going to the park. Like you help people to make these changes to their life to raise their vibration emotionally. Okay. Because I feel like you're somebody who's just naturally at peace. Okay, you're somebody who's very peaceful. Like in this picture, you see how Finn is just drinking a cup of coffee or drinking a cup of tea. Like you're just chilling, you're just vibing. And people love this about you. Let's get into the other quads. So the next one that we have about your spiritual gifts is Neptune. So you are psychic, okay? This is 12th house energy. You are psychic. You definitely pick up on things correctly. But I also feel like another one of your spiritual gifts is just the love and the compassion that you have for people. You have a lot of compassion. A lot. Okay. The next card we have is Cancer. So very nurturing, yes, very mothering. Even though you may not be the oldest person in your family, you may have younger people in your family come to you or older people. You know how in families we have like the big mama? It's like you would technically be the big mama of your family, pal number two. You technically would because people come to you for healing. With the Leo card, like I say, you could work like people younger than you, children, okay? You could be like a counselor that works at a school for children here, and you help children regulate their emotions, okay? 'Cause there's something about you being mothering and nurturing, and it's a direct connection to children. So you may work with children in some way, and that's a spiritual gift here, or spirit is guiding you to work with children, okay? Okay. So with the next card being here, we have Virgo. You are a healer. You are healing. It is healing to be in your presence, okay? I definitely feel like you definitely give people alternatives. So maybe like a lot of people who are angry come to you. And I feel like you just provide them with so much peace and you help them to utilize that anger in healthy ways. Like you may tell somebody that they need to start painting or drawing. Goes back to the Page of Cups, this emotional new beginning. Okay. You help people to control their emotions so that their emotions are not controlling them. And that is a spiritual gift in itself. Okay. The next card we have is Mars. I feel like you're very, very motivating. Okay, like you're a spiritual hype man. Like you help people to reach the goals that they want in their life. Like a person may have been super scared to do something, but then they came in your presence and you encouraged them and they realized, like, wow, this is easier than I thought. Why didn't I do this before? So you really help to ease people's fear. Okay. You really help to alleviate a lot of fear in the lives of other people and you provide healing and you put them on the path that spirit wanted them to be on anyway. So you're doing spirit's work, you're doing God's work here. Commend yourself for that pile number 2, okay? Let's get into these cards. So pile number 2, the next card we have is Jupiter. So that's why I was getting like somebody here could be a teacher because Jupiter is about teaching, expansion, and healing. Again, Virgo is about healing too. So you're definitely a healer. With Jupiter being here, you could teach. You could actually be a spiritual teacher, or you might like to teach like academics. You might like to teach children. But whatever you do, you help these children to grow and to understand themselves and become better citizens and adults for society. Okay. The next card that we have, you had 3. Pile number 2. Everybody else got 2, you got 3 here. So with this gateway card is about having a new spiritual understanding. So this makes me think of the Page of Cups. You help people to explore new parts of themselves that they never thought was possible. I feel like you help people access new paradigms that they never thought that they could access. You definitely have a spiritual gift of lifting up people's vibrations, okay? Literally, we have new beginnings. You bring new beginnings into people's lives, okay? And then the last card we have is release. Yes, you help people to like let go of what is holding them back, what's anchoring them, what's holding them down. You help people to embrace new realities and new ideas, okay? You help people to release their heartbreak and turn their pain into power. We have a lot of red energies here, so that makes me think of the root chakra. So I feel like you help people to definitely, like I said, release fear, but ground themselves, okay? You help people to make practical plans to achieve their goals. You definitely are a great motivator, okay? Some of you could want to be a life coach, or you may actually be a coach where you work with athletes here. Take what resonates and you help them to grow and heal. But yeah, pile number 2, those are your spiritual gifts. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah. We're going to move on to pile number 3. So last but not least, pile number 3. What are your spiritual gifts? So pile number 3, your spiritual gifts are you are an ancient soul. When I tap into your energy pile number 3, it's like you already know this stuff that I'm talking about. You have been here plenty of times and you have the gift of helping people come together romantically. So what I was picking up specifically from you, like I've seen like little advertisements on YouTube of like people who can draw other people's soulmates. It's something like that that you can do where you have this energy, you know, when 2 people are meant to be together and when they're not. Okay. And you definitely have some clear cognizance and life coaching energies. You help people to get their spark back. Like you help people to find their mojo. You help people to align with the light that's already been inside of them that just been dimmed. You help people to turn it up a little bit more. You know how people for example, because I'm seeing this spiritually. You know how the radio is low and it's a really good song on, but you can only hear a little bit of it. It's like when you turn it up, you can hear it clearly and you're vibing to the song and you love it. That's how you are, power number 3. Like you help people to turn up their brightness a little bit more, turn up their energy a little bit more. Okay. Let's look at these cards. And a lot of in here, I was getting a lot of twos. So you may see 222 a lot. You may be born in the month of February, or you may be born on the 22nd, or you may have a life path too. Take what resonates. But I was definitely getting a lot of twos. That's why I'm getting that you could counsel, and that's a spiritual gift as well. Like couples counseling, you may be a relationship therapist, or that's something you want to look into. But if not, you just naturally have the gift of knowing who's for who and who's not. Okay. So let's see. Let's look at these cards. So with the first card, Two of Cups. So that's why I'm getting like the relationship thing. I'm also picking up like you definitely could help people to like love themselves here, because the Two of Cups is not just about romantic love, but it's also can indicate like you loving yourself, loving a different part of you. It can represent the internal self and the outer self. So I feel like you help people to come into this agreement with their inner self and their outer self, especially if this is like relationship counseling. Like you help people to understand like what do you really need in this relationship, or what is this person giving you that you don't want. Like you help people to look at their love languages. It's like you really help deepen people's romantic lives, because what we see on TV is not reality. It takes a lot of work to have a healthy partnership with somebody. It takes a lot of work. It's not magic. Like a lot of people look at the notebook and think, oh, that's all I have to do is just do that and that's what's going to happen. No, you have to put in work in any relationship that you're in order for it to thrive and continue to grow. That's like if I have a garden and I never watered my garden, but it's beautiful and I just expect it to grow. And all these seasons pass and I'm mad at my garden because it's not growing, but I'm not taking care of it. So how can it grow? The same thing can be said about relationships. You're not taking care of it, so how can it grow? So you really help people to start to view things in different light. Like look at yourself like a plant, look at your relationship like a garden. Anything that you want to grow, you have to tend to it, you have to nurture it. It can't just do, it's not going to be able to grow by itself, okay? The next card we have is Justice. So you could also be like, I'm getting like attorneys or people that help people get divorced. I feel like you help settle divorces, things like that. You help people get their child support. You could work in like the social system here. I'm also getting somebody working in like social systems where you help people with housing, um you help people, like, get over addictions as well here. Take what resonates, because somebody here is working for, like, human resources or human services. That's coming up. But with the Justice card, it's like there's something where you help people get what they're owed. So that's why I'm getting like court. So maybe divorce court, like people getting the settlements if they didn't get a prenup when they were married, things like that. But even if it's not that, I feel like you help people to find what they've been looking for. So if this is in terms of a relationship, you help people find, or you help them attract like what kind of partner that they actually want so that they're not settling. Okay. You really help people to find the love of their life. And that's a rare spiritual gift to have, because we live in a world where it's like hookup culture where people don't believe in love. But I feel like you definitely believe in love and you help people to find that, because despite what people try to say, despite how hard they try to act like, oh, I don't want a relationship, everybody does. It's a natural human thing to want to connect and belong. That's not, there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like you help people understand that that's natural, that's human. Okay? We can be Mr. and Mrs. Independent all we want to. But at some point, we all want to be loved. Okay? The next card is the sun. So like you that you would definitely resonate with pile number one, pile number three, but take what resonates, because you may or may not. But it's like you definitely shine a light on the things that are hidden. So maybe if people, like, I feel like just like we have shadow aspects, I feel like our relationships have shadow aspects. Our relationships have light aspects and shadow aspects. And I feel like you reveal the shadow aspect of the relationship. Okay. Especially if this is like a job that you have, you really do change the lives of the couples that come into your office here or into your vicinity, wherever you work. Because I'm definitely getting somebody here that could have a master's degree or a PhD, but you have a higher level of education, which helps you to be able to do this. But if not, this is just confirmation to go for it. If some of you are wanting higher education, go for it, okay? But you definitely, with these two major arcanas here, you're an old soul. I don't think the other pals really had like they had one major arcana, you had two. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the next cards. Okay. So with the next cards being here, Pile number 3, we have Taurus. So this made me think about love and relationships, okay? This definitely made me think about that because Taurus is ruled by Venus and Libra is also ruled by Venus. And Libra came out in pile number 1, so you definitely may resonate. But yeah, you help with love relationships, okay? You help people to stop being so stubborn and to actually admit that it's okay that they want love. It's okay. Society wants to make you think that love is bad or you're weird for wanting love, but we all want it, okay? The next card that we have is Aries. So I feel like this is like your life coaching energy. Like you definitely help people to get their spark back. You help people to get their willpower back, to turn, situations in their life around, to turn their relationships around. And if the relationship doesn't work, loving themselves. I feel like you teach people how to love themselves so that their next relationship can be even better. I'm definitely getting a lot of relationship counseling. Pile number 3, you should definitely check out my I have a reading about what career suits you best, and you may pick the pile with relationship therapist. So yeah. Just putting that out there. Okay, so the next card that we have for you is, hold on, pile number 3. You had another card here. Oh, I thought you had another card. Well, never mind. Never mind. That's okay. Anyways, the next card that we have for you is Aries again. And then we have Sagittarius. So you could be a fire sign watching this. Pile number 3. You could be a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. Have these in your big 3, or just have these in your chart. And if not, you have this energy of fire. We literally have the sun. That could be Leo. So we have all fire signs here. So yeah, you just help people to find that spark. Okay. You help people to be a little bit more selfish with their energy as well and to put themselves first, especially if somebody's healing from like divorce or a relationship that didn't work out. Okay. And I feel like even for couples that do work out, you encourage self love. Because I'm definitely getting somebody here that even if you're not doing this in an office, you're doing this like via conversation, FaceTime, like helping somebody figure something out. You could be single too. And people are like, girl, you're single. Or if you're a man watching this, you're single, but you know all of this stuff because you're an ancient soul, okay? We have Sagittarius here, so you're very spiritual here, like you have spiritual beliefs, spiritual philosophies, okay? But you do have the spiritual gift of seeing the issues in relationships and like problem solving. Yeah, a spiritual gift here you have is problem solving skills. Also with Sagittarius, it's making me think about freedom. So your truth frees people here. You have the gift of speaking up with the voice here. Your words are healing. So that's why I was getting pile number 1. Okay. The next card we have is Luna, the moon. So yeah, you definitely see the shadow aspects of relationships and you help them to come to light because we have the sun here. The next card we have is Mercury. So the things you say, your voice, the advice you give is very, very healing and it changes people. It helps people to get their spark back, but it also helps to reignite the flame in relationships. Like you help people to get that passion back, especially if it's a relationship that had reached a stalemate or things had changed because the couple had had kids and you know how that is. So you definitely help people to get their mojo back, that energy back, their youth. That's what I'm picking up, their youth, okay? You definitely help people to understand that their life is not over just because they reach a certain age, okay? I'm definitely picking up life coaching energy. Yeah, life coach. The next card that we have is abundance. And then we have happiness. And you see the two there? So you definitely do work in the realm of therapy, helping people to come together, helping people to work out their differences. And if they can't, finding ways that each person can be satisfied here. Then with the abundance, like you help people to unlock that abundance. You help people to find things within themselves that was lying dormant. Okay. You really do help wake people up from this painful slumber. You really do listen to people and you are very intelligent with Mercury here, so you could have some higher level of education. Okay, take what resonates because I'm definitely picking that up. But yeah, you help to bring balance into people's relationships because all these tools is reminding me of balance. You help to bring balance here. And we even have sun and moon because This we literally have sun and moon here, so you definitely help people to become balanced in their connections, and you even do this with yourself. You do this with your own energies, okay? You have a spiritual gift of putting things in order, structure and order and balance. That's a spiritual gift in itself, okay? Yeah, pile number 3, thank you so much for coming to this reading. If you would like to book a reading, I do have that on my channel, so go and watch that reading. Readings are open. Thank you so much, flower babies. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Mwah.